the Flyers are back in Philadelphia, and they are back on the ice, taking on San Jose Sharks, and you can listen to the game with Tim Saunders and our next guest, Steve Coates, here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. Coatesy, welcome back, pal.
Michael, nice to be with you.
Always good, and, well, I'll ask you. The last time we spoke, you talked about Western Canada and how beautiful it is up there. That didn't go so well for the team, but they got back home. And are you seeing a team that is getting over some of the speed bumps of having a new coach, and are things starting to come together a little bit after that trip?
I truly believe that's happening. If you remember correctly, I said that was going to be a crucial road trip to get in the right direction, and exactly went the opposite direction. And I think that when we came back off that trip, it didn't get any better, even at home. But now there's something that happened in the Carolina Hurricanes game where they had the opportunity of coming back. And it's a real tough number in the National Hockey League to be able to come back after trailing in the second period going into the third. And now with Gostisbehere joining this hockey team, and Shane Gostisbehere brings a new light to this hockey team. And I just think it's going to get better and better as long as he's here. And it's going to be interesting what they're going to do, or what they will do. If they want to keep him, they're going to have to create cap space.
You know, that's interesting about Shane, because, here's a lot of these young players. And, the fans, Coach, they always want to see the young guys, when things aren't going well. And here's a guy that, comes up. And as you said, he's added a little something to this power play, and he's added a little bit of energy at that back blue line there. And, of course, do you think he's a guy that's going to stick around after Mark's ready to go? I mean, is he a guy that needs to be up here?
I believe that, but I'm not the general manager, and he is a guy that is he's a very stubborn. I don't want to use the stubborn. When he has something on his mind and he's going to follow a system, he's going to follow it. His thought process was to leave the young kids, especially defensemen, in the American Hockey League as long as possible. So Gostisbehere would have been on schedule, you'd think, for this year had he not torn his ACL last year. So now basically still in his infancy at the pro level. But in the two games that we've seen him, he doesn't look like he's in his infancy. He doesn't look or act or play like a rookie. The big thing, the big question mark for so much of the time was, is he big enough and is he strong enough defensively to do the job? And what I've seen in the first two games, he's not very big, but he's smart. He understands what he's got to do to play against the bigger guys. And I've been very impressed.
Yeah, and he's certainly added a spark, man. I'll tell you one thing that's impressive about him, especially on the power play, and you would, be able to analyze this better than me, but when I'm watching, he's not afraid to take that shot. A lot of times you see guys at the point, and they're kind of unsure of what to do. Man, he's ready to rip that thing when given the opportunity.
Two things right there. That's a very good point about being able to take the shot and have the confidence to let it go. But the other thing is that he gets a lot of shots through. I mean, that's an amazing thing, because when you see a lot of power plays now, you see a lot of block shots. And a lot of guys, when they wind up, they got their head down. That's one thing about taking that big slot shot from the point, is you got to have your head down. Well, if you have your head down, you can't see the people in front of you. But he'll shoot with his head up. And when he shoots with his head up, he knows where that thing's going. So that's one of the great weapons that he has. The second one is he's not afraid to make the move, because he's quick enough to get around that player. Now, he's done it both on the power play, and he's done it in other areas where he'll just all of a sudden drop the shoulder. He can go to his right. He can go to his left. He had the puck behind his own net the other night, and a lot of guys would just feed the puck to the wing or feed the puck to the middle and just follow the play up. He took off like a rocket. It was just unbelievable. And I think as he gains that confidence level, National Hockey League level, he could be scary.
Steve Coates is with us. You'll hear the Flyers tonight. They take on the Sharks. And, Steve Mason's going to be between the pipes tonight. He started the last 3 games, I guess. Neuvert is back and ready to, he's been out for a couple of games, so you'll see Steve in there. And, obviously the goaltending thing, everybody thought Mason was going to really solidify that thing, and Michael's played really well, but it seems like that has been kind of a shaky position. All anticipation is that Mason will get better as this season goes on, but has that been a little bit of a disappointment that that position's been a little up and down?
Well, I don't really think it's been. I don't think it's been up and down at all. I think it's actually been pretty good. Mason got sick. Mason hurt. Neuvert got hurt. I think, if anything, that we've learned that Michael Neuvert can play as a number one goalie.
Yeah.
He's got 3 shutouts. I think that the problem wasn't as much the goaltending as it is the guys in front, where they just weren't doing a good job in their own zone. And the team plays way too much in their own zone. Not anymore. I thought they did a great job against LA, a very good LA team. And up until the second period in Carolina, they had the same problem. Too much time in their own zone. But I think, quite frankly, the goalies have been pretty good. I think the only problem has been that Mason hasn't been consistent to be able to get in there as the number one guy because he got sick and had that hit.
All right, Coach. Shen went from a scratch to the first line and responded, and he played a good game. He's been a guy that, he was a big part of that trade, which, heck, Richards is not even in the league anymore. They've won a couple Stanley Cups. You would think that some of these guys would have made for themselves, and it seems like Shen still hasn't made that name for himself yet. But is this maybe, some guys just need to be put on a higher, pedestal. They need to be put on a higher plateau. Is this something that you think will be good for Brayden Schenn? Will we see that of him playing with this top line?
I don't think it's got anything to do with playing with Giroux and Voracek. I think it's up to Brayden Schenn. Brayden Schenn's been on that line before. Mm-hmm. But Brayden Schenn, it's up to him to put forth an effort that he did the other night. The other night, he had 8 shots on net. He had 2 shots before the fans even sat down. That's how good he was. He was chasing down he was taking the body. He had a constant work ethic. And for Brayden Schenn to be successful, that's got to be there. So if he plays well, he'll stay on that line. And it'll be Giroux and Voracek that will benefit from having him on there, because it was just a rotating left wing position there last year. There was one player among all the forwards last year that did not play as a guest left winger with Giroux and Voracek, and that was Sean Couturier. So if Brayden Schenn plays like he did the other night after being sat down, which is a humiliating thing, a little bit tough on the ego, then everybody's going to benefit, because he really, really played well.
Well, they have the Sharks tonight. They'll play at Ottawa on Saturday, a little weekend in Canada for your coachy, and then back Monday night for Rod Brind'Amour going into the Flyers Hall of Fame, and we'll have tickets for that next hour. But you had Simone on Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Brindy's going into the Hall of Fame on Monday. So it's been a lot of rehashing there at the Wells Fargo Center this year. You've had a lot of former guys coming through there.
It's really making me feel very old, Michael, because I remember when these guys are all kids, and now, like Briere, he's retired. Brind'Amour is going to go in the Hall of Fame. Then you got Simone the other night. I mean, all quality people and very deserving, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing Roddy, who's, he's one of the top guys in the game. I mean, he's a guy that came to play every night and worked really, really hard to get to that spot. And I think it's really deserving, and I'm looking forward to seeing him and seeing it honored on Monday night. Yeah,
that should be cool. And then Wednesday you'll be at the Barclays Center for the first time when the Islanders host the Flyers.
That's a little bit of a problem up there right now. They're not getting the people that they thought they were going to get when they went to the island or to Brooklyn. It's a nice building, but it's like that old building that they had when Phoenix moved to. When Winnipeg actually went to Phoenix the first time, they played in the America West building downtown, which is a basketball building. So you basically only have 3 sides. You only have the one end is not functional, and that's what the Barclays Center is. It's a basketball building.
Huh. Yeah, I was watching I think it was on Comcast the other night about the story of them moving to Brooklyn, and, they got to take the train and getting the fans to come down there, and, it has been a little bit tougher. There's been some growing pains through this, and, I guess that old building was just not getting it done anymore, but maybe this wasn't the best move for them. We'll see. But it looks like a beautiful building that you'll get a chance to see on Tuesday night when the Flyers head to no longer to Long Island. That's a shame, though. Like, when you have franchises like that in sports where it's like that's their thing. The Islanders are their little thing, and it's a shame that they're not there anymore.
Well, it is a shame, but you know what? It was the city. Well, actually, I don't know if it was the county or what it is there, but they just didn't want to put up the money. I mean, they're putting some money into it now, but it's going to be a smaller facility. And they fought for years to try to get that. They have a lot of space up there, a lot of space. Well, the arena up in Long Island was a former airport.
Yeah.
And so a lot of space. And they could have built a new building on one of the corners of the facility and then kept playing in the other one and then just tear it down. But they didn't want to do it, and as a result, they moved.
All right. Steve Coates and Tim Saunders will have the call tonight. And, of course, the Flyers take on the San Jose Sharks. Thanks, Coates. Always a pleasure, pal. And take care of Joe Mitchell tonight.
I'm going to certainly do my best, Michael. Thanks again.
All right, Coates. Take care. That's Steve Coates, the radio voice of the Flyers, along with Tim Saunders, who has the play-by-play, Coates on the color analyst.